Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction, sir. It was in June 2014 when the new government came in. At that point of time, the new government felt that the country is not in shape. And it is factually supported by few statistics. That is when the Honorable Prime Minister of the country, Mr. Narendra Modi ji, started addressing certain issues. And a problem can be addressed either by a positive vibration or by a negative vibration. What would productively turn out to be best advantage would be addressing through a positive vibration. That is when he felt that all the problems to the stumbling blocks of the country, if it has to become a stepping stone, then he thought of bringing in the campaigns around that problems. The first of its kind is your Make in India project. The second of its kind is your Digital India. Third is your Skill India. Fourth is your Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana. And the last of its kind is your Startup India. Now, why did he bring? So when you might ask me a question. Nobody said, sir, this is a problem in the country, what the Prime Minister has addressed. Nobody would say, or nobody wished to say that there is a problem in the country. Now, what's exactly the problem in the country today? Today, the country, a problem or the opportunity for the country is, today the country has about 60% of youth population. This youth population is considered to be a capital. Whether you're going to make this capital a liability or the asset to the nation is going to depends upon the empowerment the government is going to provide. It's a huge task before the government. And that is when they thought of empowering the youngsters, and they brought in the Startup India and Stand Up India campaign. And immediately many people, when they actually question in different forums and also some of the interviews in abroad also, I come back and tell them, they ask me why did the Prime Minister, if the agenda of the government was to empower the youth, then why at all did he bring the Startup India Stand Up as a last project or the last campaign, that too in the January 16, 2016, when the youth is a priority? The answer is, without enabling other projects of the government, without enabling the Make in India project, without enabling the Digital India project, without enabling the Skill India project, without bringing the people in the banking channel, that is your Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana, you cannot enable the Startup India project. Because the Startup India requires a manufacturing boost that is done by your Make in India project. Startup India project requires a digital platform which is being promised through the digitalization of the country through Digital India campaign. And the next issue is your Skill India campaign. Let me take some time about Skill India project. The Skill India project is one of the key game changers of the economy. Today what's happening? Today a student, when he is actually entering the college, he doesn't know any option other than mechanical, civil and electronics, EEE, ECE and all the courses what a normal person will do. And the moment he completes the engineering only, he thinks about his life, what to do next. And his life is today dependent upon the companies which are coming and recruiting. And how many people the company can recruit? The companies actually go through a different economic cycles in the boom and the, it goes through a different economic cycle. So all the time they cannot assure of hundreds of jobs. So they recruit the top of the people. And these top of the people also go there and they don't use their knowledge, they are put into the process-oriented job. At the end of the day, they are neither useful for them, neither useful for the country. And not to their family members also. And over a period of time, they remain in employment, and when they retire, what they have is a huge amount of liability and a few amounts they need to pay as EMI, and they have to depend upon the pension what they might get at the end of the tenure of their life. This is what is the trend that is going on in the country. Now, what the government is trying to say? Government, by bringing the Skill India project, they came to say that there are a lot of engineers, there are a lot of graduates who are taking up graduation but going for a BPO job. But there are a lot of engineers that there are no drivers. There are a lot of engineers today in the society but there are no electricians. There are a lot of engineers today but there are no gardeners. And you neither know how to do gardening, neither I know how to do a gardening. A simple example, if a particular tube light in a home goes off, do we know how to change it? A particular fan doesn't work. Do you know how to remove it and then put it back? We don't know. What is exactly this? An engineering graduate. I am talking about an engineering graduate who is there at the home, who has studied electronical and electrical engineering, who is not able to fit a fan. And I am talking about a mechanical engineer who is not able to repair a small problem in the bike or a car or a cycle also. to put a puncher today. So the point what the government is looking at is a big project, the game changer of the economy. I've been visiting a lot of countries around the world, and specifically when I go to the countries, I have the habit of studying some of the best practices of this country. So either I go for a work or the personal front. Recently I visited Taiwan. I'm not talking about Thailand. Thailand is known for different things, but I'm talking about Taiwan. Taiwan is part of China. It's part of the Republic of China. And Taiwan is number 1 in the patents registration. Taiwan is number 1 in the innovation. Number 1 in the innovation around the world. And nobody knows about it. And you use the mobile what the Taiwan people have produced. Your iPhone is a design in the USA, but it is produced in Taiwan by Foxconn. Your Asus mobile is from Taiwan. Your Acer laptop is from Taiwan. Your HTC mobile is from Taiwan. And all the internal parts of the Lenovo is from Taiwan. Only the body, the design is from different parts of the world. So this is the technology they have. And what is this? How are they able to bring in? Because it's about putting the thinking process in mind. For example, I met a welder in Taiwan. When I say welder, the immediate thing that comes in your images, the welder means the welder who is having a shop in the street corner, and when something goes wrong, he will weld you. That's not the case. The welder started developing interest. The particular welder whom I am talking about started developing interest in the welding when he was in school. Then his parents took this man, when he got interested in the welding, they put it to a mentor. That mentor started discussing about the welding to that young child, and subsequently in school itself he started welding, doing some small projects, and through the innovation school what they have established in the government. Then subsequently he went to the UG, he did his bachelor's in welding along with the other aspects of the science. Then in the master's he specialized on welding. Then he went on to do PhD in the welding. Then he started doing research in welding, and he has patents of about 200-300 welding patents in welding. And this is welding all about. And what we think today in India we think welding means the welder who is actually has no job or no option to pursue, and he is coming to the welding.
And he must be 10th fail.
He must be 10th fail. That is what is expected in the country. We need a more maturity model. India is all about immature country. Let me be very fair. Be it me, be it anybody for that matter, I may be very upfront on it. We are actually working on an immature model. That's the reason we had a colonization in the country. That we are high in cultural values, but we lack the maturity. The maturity of what is important, what is tomorrow, the future, that we are not working on. We are working on a day-to-day basis. We have a short sight about our life. It's not the dream which is driving us, it's about our day-to-day activity which is driving us. And believe me, I was there for a week or two, about 2 weeks in Taiwan. The amount of time when I spent, none of the youngsters there waste their time discussing about a particular movie. Movie is like in any other activity there. And here people think movie is all about life. So these are some cultural differences which is actually existing. Because of this, the country requires certain kind of a boost that need to be given. There it is all about idea sharing. In lunch it is all about idea sharing. In a school break it is all about idea sharing. Morning time it is about teamwork in school. Where is this happening in the country today? In this country when you meet for a lunch, be it me, be it a student, most of the thing that happens is gossip. So there is some productive time that is being wasted, and if this productive time is being put for an idea sharing, then the country will automatically become an entrepreneurial hub. What is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is not about you putting money and then generating money. That is a byproduct of your business. You ask any businessman today, be it a businessman who is sitting today at Andhra Chamber of Commerce, or anybody for that matter who is there outside. I have interacted with some of the multinational companies. I have interacted with the Indian companies who have grown from scratch. I have worked with a lot of promoter group, how they have actually built their business, how they are handing over their business to their successor. It's something exceptional. When they started their business, it was never for money. It was about creating something on your own or doing something different from the lot. As the skill development committee chairman was saying here, he was right. Today, people look at employment as the first option in India. If they don't get employment, then they will try business. That is not the situation in US. You look at Google today, you speak great about Google. You look at Microsoft today, you speak great about Microsoft. None of the person here will be knowing without knowing Microsoft or Google. Your life is impacted by Microsoft and Google every day. These two people what I am referring here left their college and started this business, if you remember well, if they look at their history. And even when the Bill Gates came and addressed in Harvard, he said, I came back to collect my certificate. So now looking at this, people did not leave the education just because they wanted to while away the time. Don't immediately deem that we have to leave the education and move off. They left the education because the time they're going to spend in the college is much costly, because they can put the same effort in creating the venture, the dream that they had. So that is what the reason they left their colleges and pursued the dream, and that is the reality today. And they evolved with the innovation, they evolved with the new things, they evolved with the technology and the developments happening around, and one innovation gives birth to another innovation. One innovation gives birth to another innovation. Without Microsoft, there is no Google. Without Google, there is no Facebook. Without Facebook, there is no WhatsApp. So that's how the innovation. One innovation will give birth to another innovation. Why should innovation happen only from US? And do you think all these innovations happen only solely because of the US citizens? Answer is no. In Silicon Valley, the 15% of the new companies or the startups are started and being successful by 7% of the Indian population. And if the same 7% of Indian population remained here, they would have ideally remained in employment. The reason is the mindset change, the aspiration to create the new thing. That is very, very important. That is what the effort is all about in the Startup India. And the Skill India is a basic essential thing. Moment you are a skilled person in a certain area, be it your building, be it your carpentry, then you are going to think in those lines. You are going to create a product around that domain, around that core expertise. If that doesn't happen, then that means education is an issue in the country. And is an education issue in the country? Answer is yes, including my own certificates. Including my own certificates. In fact, people when they come back and say, look, chartered accountancy is a great thing, I accept and deem that it's a great thing. And similarly, engineering is also a great thing, doctor is also a great thing. But the system in which it is generated is not good. The same courses can be done and generated in a different fashion. The education system has to change. The education system should give a window for new thinking model. If that doesn't happen, then education system is leading and ruining the youngsters. If without educated, you can become much productive, because your education spoils you because you have a debt. If you complete your engineering, you have a minimum of 8 lakh rupees debt. And your parents run around selling their property. Parents run around selling their gold ornaments. Parents run around to settle that liability. I think that is where the country is not moving forward. And you go and work in a cubicle where it is a process-oriented job. And the entire life you work in a process-oriented job. By the time your thinking process down, by the time you have a family responsibilities which is catching up with you. So I think the model has to change. The innovation has to spur in the country. That has to happen. The education system has to happen. It is not you, it is not the government, it is not the academic institution who are responsible. The education system. The people should give mandate for this. If the people are aware about this, then the education system is going to change. And for example, I started an innovation school in a particular corner of the country. People will say, what is this school about? It is not going to fetch my son or a daughter a job. But we are looking at the school and creating an entrepreneur who can generate billions and millions of employment and value in the society. But people have to have that maturity, and this is Startup India project. And many business people call me. Many people, when I go and train and here and there and fly, people ask me, Startup India, what is the incentive government is providing? It's not about incentive, it is a new thinking model. Government is saying, what this is a habit, as the chairman of the skill development was saying, it is right. What he was saying is absolutely right. It was in Rajiv Gandhi period where the entrepreneurship development happened, and subsequently only now it is happening. And what is new in this government is, the new government recognizing the startup is most important thing, which never happened in the country. There was an entrepreneurship policy, but never familiarized with the people. At the end of the day, if the policy is not familiarized with the people, then the policy is a scrap. It's not going to be useful. So accordingly, Honorable Prime Minister is doing a wonderful job, all said and done. He is able to bring that kind of an awareness about the policy, and people are able to feel the policy first of all. That itself is a great task. Otherwise, if Startup India campaign is not there, I am not going to speak here, or you are not going to be here. That itself is a great success. It's made people to come and share their ideas in a forum. That itself is a great achievement by the Prime Minister. At what time it happened? Probably people with this crowd might come for a budget meeting. People of this kind can come for some other thing, but never for the policy of the government independently. And this was the first time it's happening. I think this is what is all about the new government doing. Now, the Startup India project, when it was announced on the January 16, 2016. At that point of time, on the day, it was in Kolkata, we had a session. It was planned to be on the startup session. It was agreed by the forum, in a particular chartered accountancy forum, about 800 people. That morning, the Prime Minister will issue the policy, and I will present the policy in the afternoon. So the policy came in when I started in the flight, and policy got over, and he announced the policy when I got out from in Kolkata airport. I immediately looked into 1 hour and started presenting about it. I was clear this is going to be a game changer for the economy, because the incentives what they have provided in the startup policy may be meager, and many people questioned me. This incentives what you are talking about is nothing. I said something is better than the country without being anything. So he has started this initiative. This initiative is not completely going to help the people without being providing further impetus, because there is only a beginning, and beginning is good. So that's going to be helpful for the people. What's exactly the status of India today? India today is a country which is the fastest growing economy. I'm not saying this, your IMF reports are saying this. In March 18, when the IMF report came in, International Monetary Fund, it said India is the fastest growing economy, and it's in the bright spot. And absolutely true. For the ease of understanding, I'll try to compare the similar models of economy. Where is Brazil today? The developing economy, it's in negative. The growth of the Brazil is negative. Russia is again in negative. Whereas China is lacking behind us, it's 6.3%. And in South Africa, it's almost 1.3%. But India is about 7.5%, which is the fastest rising tiger in the entire world. And not only in the entire BRICS nation, it's compared to other nations also. Let's compare India with US. Still India is the fastest growing economy. If you compare India with Japan, still Japan is lacking behind us because they are facing depression. If you compare Europe, they are already in depressed mode. Brexit is happening today. So looking at all these things, India has a wonderful opportunity with the fastest growing economy to the majority government. Who gave this majority government? People gave this majority government. That is the reason people are enjoying it. The moment the country gets a majority government, they will be able to reap the benefit. Any government for that matter, it's not this government, any government for that matter, if you are going to give a mandate for the majority, then automatically the benefits of the policy is going to come. Otherwise, it is going to peril in the parliament. And 3 is your campaigns which are being announced, which I explained to you shortly. So all these campaigns are creating the positive vibration and young and restless. So today youngsters are about 60% of the population. Out of 1.3 billion population, the youngsters constitute about 60%. What is the youngsters age group? The youngsters age group is about 25 to 35 years. These youngsters are going to be the future of this nation, and accordingly, the Startup India is going to give them all the boost. Let me show you a small video which talks about the startup.
One man believed that he could change the world. We believe that he dreamed for a great future.
So these are the kind of things that's happening. Now whether it is only the central government which is actually came up with the startup policy? Answer is no. You have your state government, our own Tamil Nadu government has come out with the entrepreneurship policy. Our Andhra Pradesh CM, our own Chandrababu Naidu, has come out with the startup policy much before the central government came out with the startup policy. In the September 2014 itself, he laid the seed for this, and subsequently it got into limelight in September 2015. By 1 year, the startup policy in the Andhra Pradesh government was out. Kerala government already has startup villages. The same model was adopted in the Andhra Pradesh also, in Vizag. And in fact, Andhra Pradesh CM, the Chandrababu Naidu, sent the IT secretary to Kerala and established the same startup village in Vizag by taking help of the Kerala government. And also, Bangalore is known for startup, and Bangalore is number one in the startup in the entire country. So, South India especially is the pointer in the entrepreneurship. It's not an exception. What is an exception today is the governments recognizing it, the state government and central government. So, looking at this, there's a complete support from all the stakeholders. The only thing that the government wants, the academia wants, and the people want is generation of the idea. How can it happen? It is purely by generation or purely by educating the students in the college and schools about how to generate the idea. If they're going to get the expertise in the subject, automatically the idea is going to be generated. So this is what is the vision of the government. In fact, when the Honorable Prime Minister came out with the startup, he said, millions of ideas, thousands of creative minds under one roof. That is all about the startup. It's about idea. If you have idea today, nothing can stop you to grow. Simple. If you're going to think that funds is a problem, never mind. Funds will come in search of you and knock at your door and come and sit with you. Funds will come to you. What is important is scaling up your idea. What is the idea all about? The particular idea what you generate should be able to address the problem in the society. And you look at any problem, any idea which has addressed the problem in the society has scaled up in large scale. You wanted to communicate to your kith and kin immediately. So what's a success? You wanted to stay connected with all your friends around the world. Facebook is success. So whenever the entrepreneur is able to identify a particular problem in the society, then he is set to grow, and all the things will happen because people are ready to fund it, because it's going to be a profitable venture. So looking at this is about Startup India, Stand Up India. Let me show you one more video about the state of the Indian economy today. at this video, it clearly shows you that what is the state of India today. I was in, when I was in Taiwan, before I get into the exact discussion, again coming back to Taiwan, I was invited by the ambassador of Taiwan for a short meeting. And he was expressing about, his name is Philip A. Wong. He was an ex-ambassador in India from Taiwan, and now he is there in Taiwan as one of the chairman of one of the top-notch postal department of the government. So he invited in his office, and I was just speaking to him about various ideas how India can actually shape up the young people. He said two important points, which was actually a good idea. He said, we need to bring in an innovation school in the country. The innovation school should be in a model where the collaborative learning should be there, wherein you get the best learning. For example, you identify that the particular person has an interest in the architect, or a particular person has interest in drawing. The person who has interest in drawing should become a person who will be interested in the architect also in the future. So we should somewhere down the line identify the interest of the student, then empower the interest of the student in such a way that the certifications, the research and bachelor's and master's actually matches requirement. So from the school level to the college level, there will be a seamless integration of his interest. Then if this interest becomes his life, then life will actually give him a lot of opportunities. He will not only be useful for India, he will be useful for the entire world. If you are able to do this kind of work for at least a set of 50 students in the 5 years down the line, you can demonstrate the difference of this to the entire society. That's what he told. Second, today we speak about Make in India project. Make in India project is not about bringing foreign direct investment in the country, producing the foreign goods and selling to the foreign country. India is not a manufacturing hub, or just to manufacture they are not bringing here to cause hazardous your nature. It is about creating a product in the name of the country. For example, there should be a mobile in the name called Ashoka. There should be a mobile in the name of your own Chennai. There should be a mobile in the name of an entrepreneur in India. So Asus, if you look at, it is the name of an entrepreneur. I didn't know that until he told me. Foxconn, if you look at, there is some name of some two people, it is actually merged into Foxconn. HTC is a name of 3 individuals who created this mobile company in the respective country. So that kind of a product, the best of the quality product should emerge from the country. That is the initiative of Make in India. Make in India is not about bringing some few investments and making people to establish, that is one of the objective, but that's not the only objective of the government. The government objective in Make in India is to boost the domestic manufacturing by creating innovation and research around it. So you are looking at a technology collaboration. Sometimes what happens, we go in a search of a research mode where technology is already available in a low cost manner. Even if you're going to research and come out with a product, then it's going to be a high cost than what is already available at the international level. So he says, if you're not able to bring in a low cost technology, look at collaborating with other countries in the low cost technology and bringing out a unique product, design engineering, basically. You bring out your own design and incorporate the other people's product inside that and call that product as your own country's product. That is called Make in India. He was just giving his ideas about it. So looking at all these things, this can only be enabled through your Startup India and Startup India policy. Now to explain about startup, the definition of startup, a typical chartered accountant will run through the definition. I don't want to do that exercise, where I want to give an example about the startups and then take you through the definition of the startup. If you look at this person, his name is Natarajan and Senthil Natarajan. You would have gone for this shop called Kovai Padanmuthur Cholai Nilayam. They are the owners. Mr. Natarajan had this shop from 1965. He is an alumni of PhD, is what I understand. And he started this company and he was running it in a very structured way and a very professional way. His son took up, and now last week I was in ICT conference on Startup India where they told me to address. About 1,500 college professors were there, and he was also one of the speakers there. Even before I get to know him, I was speaking about it. There are people who have been seeing my sessions in MMA also. I think some people have come. So this person started addressing. Today his business is about 220 crores. What is this business? It is not complicated. It is selling fruits. It is selling vegetables. Selling the batter of the dosa. So this business is fetching him 220 crores. And when we say fruit, I want to become a fruit vendor, people think you are a poor person. You only become poor. What has changed the same idea, being a poor person to a rich person, is not the boon or astrology. It is the idea generation capability. If the same person has been selling the fruits on the road, he will be selling on the road. but he had a different thought process. What is the thought process? The thought process was to go for retail, wherein when the people were selling the fruits in the road, he started selling the fruits in the shop. In India, the main problem is the products which we have to buy in the road, we'll buy in the shop. And the products which we want to buy in the shop, we'll buy in the road. I can show you hundreds of examples. I can show you hundreds of examples. I'm not an exception also. I'm not an exception. I'm part of this system. Don't think that I'm a Mahatma Gandhi speaking here and I'm right in all aspects. I'm part of the system. I'm also responsible for Swachh Bharat project. I'm also responsible for Skill India project. I'm also equally responsible for the problems in the country. So, looking at this, when you brainstorm the problems, people who think differently actually are successful people. He started retailing of the fruits and vegetables. Today, it is 220 crores business, and every 1 day or 2 days, he's opening another outlet. And you know something, some of the fruits, what you don't get outside, you get it from his shop. And quality is assured. Quality is assured. And he's running a cold storage, he's of course getting an income tax benefit, that's a different issue. He doesn't start business based on the income tax benefit the government has provided. He started even before the income tax benefits are provided. How the government should do is, your technology or your product or your idea should be so disruptive that the government should give incentive to you. That is entrepreneurship. That is entrepreneurship. Your product or technology or your idea should be so innovative and disruptive to the people. You want to make the people to use it. The government should ask you, so and so entrepreneur, what is the benefit you want? I will provide you. You should be the game changer of the entire nation. That idea should be there within the entrepreneur, and this is the kind of business he's running. And if he has thought, you would have remained as a small entrepreneur without any kind of impetus, and he has made the difference. Gram Power. Yashraj Kaitan is a University of Berkeley University graduate. And many people, when they graduate from US, they tend to stay in US. Even if I am there, I would have stayed there only. Two, even if they come to India, they have to stay only in Bangalore, not in Chennai also. Bangalore or in Delhi or Bombay. It is expected out of the family and us also. Why did he come to Chennai? Nothing is there. He went, Hyderabad may be an exception. Last choice, or maybe his best choice for whatever reason. Now looking at this, he went to a place where there was no power. People said, what are you going to do? I am going to give Gram Power. That is the company he started. Gram Power is nothing but all giving electricity to all the villages. Now our present Minister for Power, he said power is a right of every person. Piyush Goyal. Our own minister is saying power is every right of person. Similar model he adopted as a businessman. So sometimes you don't need to be a politician or a social activist to change the entire country. Sometimes if you are a normal businessman, you can change the entire country. And so many business people emerge, automatically the country will go up. And Gram Power, he went and established the business in Rajasthan, some remote village. People said something has happened to him. That's how people think when people think differently. Something has happened to him, I don't know. He went to University of Berkeley, he's not okay. He's not okay. Then he started business in that Rajasthan small village. And today, the particular village people pay the electricity bill in prepaid model. Even today, I pay my bill only on 15th of every month, 5:30. That's the last date and last time. Opportunity available. Otherwise, the power will go off in the home. Now, looking at this, the prepaid model is working out well. Now, what he has done? He has rectified the problem in the society. The particular village has got the power. Today, because of that power, a lot of people are getting educated and the entire village is going up. This is entrepreneurship where he is able to make a difference. And we are all looking, as a common man, what he has made profits. He is getting award from the Prime Minister. Awards will come in such of us, provided we have actually given our best. Even if you don't get, still there is an award for you because you have done your effort and your interest into that. That is what is expected, and people only look at the other side and never they look at the inside what happened to that. Looking at this is all about your entrepreneurship. How did he generate power? He generated power through renewable energy. Renewable energy, different source of renewable energy, not just one. Solar power, he used a different source of renewable energy. That's why when the Prime Minister addresses, he said, when a strong wind blows, there are two types of people. The first type of people is they will close the window and sleep. The second type of people is start thinking, can I put a wind power energy company there? So this is entrepreneurship side. That is what is the idea of the Prime Minister under this project. 2, 3, streak on Bola. If you think the entrepreneurship can be made successful, you can become an entrepreneur only when all the things are favorable to you. Today when I say entrepreneur or businessman, the immediately that runs, at least in my mind what it was running when I was a student is, Businessman means he will come in Audi car, BMW, Benz. It is all shown in the film. 5 minutes he will become businessman. From a roadside seller to that is 5 minutes. But that is not the case in the real life. So people think all the facilities has to be there to become an entrepreneur. In fact, just because the facilities were not there, that is the reason they become entrepreneurs. Look at Srikant Bola. I was part of this CIA Southern India regional meeting headed by Rashtriya Pati, the chairman of the Rashtriya Sugars. He got the award, Srikant Bola got the award of the Emerging Entrepreneurs Award. And the award was given by the MRF chairman. He generally doesn't come out. He came out to give this award to Srikant Bola. Srikant Bola runs an enterprise called Bolan Industries. It's about 50 crore enterprise. And this man, the great man, Srikant Bola, is a visually challenged person. Here is a man, a visually challenged person, a disabled person, providing employment for abled person. This is entrepreneurship. This is entrepreneurship. And you're not thinking entrepreneur means you need to have all the facilities. You should go in a flight first class, business class, and you need to get on. And that's how I imagined at least. At least I don't know about the recent youngsters, and that's how I was imagining. But looking at this is entrepreneurship. I did not explain further story. Srikant Bola, when he wanted to write 10th standard, he was not allowed to write 10th standard because he is 100% visually challenged. Then he applied to the court of law and he got the permission, and then he wrote the 10th standard, he got 96%. Even I had 2 eyes, I couldn't get it. So I was not able to perform well in the exam. But still he is able to get 96% and he got 96% and he got meritorious school also, and 11th standard, 12th standard he pursued, and he applied for IIT entrance. In the IIT entrance, they sent him a reply saying that you are not eligible to be you are not eligible to write the IIT entrance. Then now we cannot keep filing the cases under the court. You know about the case court in India. Then it takes number of years to give a judgment. So by the time he will become old. So then he applied for started writing a mail to US universities, and Manchester Institute of Technology called him and offered a seat. Manchester Institute of Technology. Then he completed his graduation from Manchester Institute of Technology. And if I am in this position, I will never come back from US for 2 reasons. 1, I get good employment. 2, I get 2 lifestyle. 3, the government supports me from all my ventures and employment. 4, after I become old, when I am not able to earn, the government takes care of me. But here, that is when you start suffering. So social security schemes are there in the US. So this man left everything and came to India and started establishing a business in India, that too in a remote village where he hailed from Andhra Pradesh. And that industry name is Bolan Industry, which is about 50 crore enterprise today. And all the people are ready to fund him because his business is also scalable. Business is also scalable. This is entrepreneurship. In spite of all difficulties, you establish and look at the joy. We look at only the recognition what he gets today, but look at the turmoil. And a lot of people are not in the limelight even now. Today, economy, if you are going to think that your top names where you are dreaming to work is contributing to the Indian economy, answer is no. It is the SME which is actually the game changer of the economy. It is the SME which is contributing about 90% of the GDP growth in the country every year. And there are about 3 crore 60 lakh SME enterprises, out of which 3 crore 25 lakhs is not registered. That is the problem. It is not registered. But other enterprises, whatever is registered, we can understand the statistics that they contribute about 90%. It is not only India, even in Germany, 85% of the GDP of the country or enterprise in Germany is SME, and they contribute to the GDP growth of the German country. So, Velmani, he went with 500 rupees. There is a saying in many places, unsaid story, that if you go to Bombay and sleep in a particular platform, you will come up well. You will become businessman, you will become billionaire. I also tried, I couldn't. That's a different issue. Okay, you have to sleep one night, but you have to sleep one night and a photograph and everything should be taken. That's a set rule. This man is from Coimbatore. He went with 500 rupees from Coimbatore and got an employment in Bombay, and he got an employment in the government enterprise. People today aspire to be in the private job or government job. If you go to government job, one aspiration is clear. You have to get something out of the job. Yes. Some cut. That is the aspiration of a government job today. Leave all those things away. This man worked honestly in the government job. Then one day in the lunch, after having his lunch, delicious lunch given by his wife, just opened the window, looked at the window, outside the window. There was an hospital where people are waiting in line. Next day he resigned. Next day he resigned. In fact, some people asked him in one of the conference, "You resigned, what did your wife say?" Other things are fine. What did your wife say? "No, I don't generally," he said in a very nice way, "I don't generally discuss, I decide." Then that's a different issue in the night. That's a different issue. So then he went on to start the business. He started the business called Thyrocare. And today in a lot of radios, I think thyroid, think Thyrocare. That is his enterprise, which is about 1,300 crore enterprise. Now this, if you go and ask any businessman, he will not say, I aspire to make 1,300 crore and then I started the business. This man opened that window. What happened out of that window? Out of that window, his thought process came. The thought process was, why should the patient wait for the getting diagnosed to the doctor? First he should be diagnosed in the diagnostic center. For due respect to the doctor, I am not sure how many of them are doctors here. First he should be diagnosed in the diagnostic center. Then he should go with the report to the doctor so that the doctor will assess the diagnostic report and then prescribe the medicine. This is a scientific way of doing. But what happens in our country? Even now I go to my own doctor where immediately some problem comes, I go to the doctor, he will touch my hand and put the stethoscope here and there and suggest some same medicine. And the compounder will say, same medicine, yes sir, it will be available here. That means it is prescribed for everyone who comes there. So the point is that is not the way the medical profession has to function. He changed the scenario of the medical function. He said the diagnosis centers will be the great use. He opened it, then he went on to do a specialization in the diagnosis center, thyroid diagnosis. And today Thyrocare is a great company with 1,290 crores valued company today. And that is his success story. And he started from a scratch with 500 rupees and nothing of, if you think the capital you need, capital is not a problem. You can start. Provided the idea is good, today you get the funding today. Hand in hand, Kalpana Shankar, she runs this enterprise in Chennai and you all may be knowing about the enterprise. Hand in Hand India is one of the great organizations where they work in the 5 pillars: microfinance, education institutions, and many other social projects. I was there in one of these sessions of Mohammed Yunus. I also keep writing and then speaking to Mohammed Yunus, the Nobel laureate, the man behind the social entrepreneurship. This person said that Mohammed Yunus said, Nobel laureate Mohammed Yunus said that social entrepreneur should be the richest person, or rather, social enterprise should make the highest profit. You know why? I am not ready to clean the street. Somebody is ready. They are ready even to clean the street where I am also putting the garbage. I am not ready to clean my own home, but somebody is clearing the garbage. So he is a social service person. What happens? Moment we think about social service organization, we think that they should be poor. They should be like coming and asking you the contribution. In fact, we should go and give the contribution and make them rich. Only when they become rich, they have the interest to sustain. Otherwise, how many days they will keep doing? They will keep searching for other fortune. So people who take up social entrepreneurship should be given highest reward. Whether it is education, or 2, microfinance, or 3, it is Swachh Bharat scheme where the government says and the people engage in that. 4, it can be anything, poverty alleviation, anything for that matter. All this organization is doing. Today this organization is scaling up extremely well. They are not only helping India, but also going abroad. Afghanistan, they have a project. And they are able to help the women and the self-help groups there. And microfinance is one of the great hit of this Hand in Hand India project. And all this is done by Ms. Kalpana Shankar from our own Tamil Nadu. Ex-Nora, you all be knowing about Nirmal. Mr. Nirmal, Ex-Nora Nirmal. Even before people thought about social service, this man left his job from IOB and he started this enterprise. And Ex-Nora is, you know about Ex-Nora, how well it has actually cleaned up our place and what are the projects he has done. And if you think entrepreneurship is about a great area, I can tell you a simple idea can be an entrepreneurship. She is my own friend and her name is Vidya and Lakshman. These people run something called Charminar, zero biryani oil. Sorry, zero oil biryani. So they said, I went to one function, they said,
new concept, zero biryani oil.
Yeah, zero biryani oil. No, sorry, zero oil biryani, okay. Now, after this session, Vijay came and said, did you have biryani? Yes, I had biryani. She said, did you find oil in it? Yes, I found it. No, it is zero oil biryani. How is it but it's oily? No, it's different. That is our innovation. I was astonished. Because moment when you go to have a biryani, never you mind. After having biryani, you'll have some kind of feeling, how are you going to reduce this weight? Whatever you had as a biryani. Because that is so hefty that you will start feeling that. So they said that, and I was happy on that day, the innovation need not be on a great thing. A simple thing like this is an innovation, which is also coming under the startup project. Ampere vehicles. Do you think getting a funding is a problem? I recently met them also in their company. Getting a funding is not at all a problem. You write a mail to Ratan Tata, he will give you. I also wrote to Ratan Tata asking him 500 crores, he never gave me. Okay, so but whenever you write a mail, the lesson you have to learn from this entrepreneur is, she got the funding. Don't think she did not have any other fortune to start this company. She was well off. She's based off Singapore. She's from Tamil Nadu, and she has started a company in a place called Kannanpalayam, a village. This is a battery operated vehicle. She wrote a mail to Ratan Tata. Ratan Tata called her on the phone, and then she got an undisclosed amount as a funding. Okay, so funding is not a problem. Moment your idea is scaled up and it's backed up by the market share what your product can get. And she's the right example. So how many mails Ratan Tata must be getting in a day? It is about 10,500 mails. Out of 10,500 mails, if he is able to pick up one mail and provide funding, you should look at the strength of the idea, or the way she would have written the mail to Ratan Tata. So looking at this, so funding is never a problem. Generate an idea automatically, and still the product is in the development stage, for which Ratan Tata has funded. You go to their factory. I went to their factory in Kannanpalayam. They do morning Abdul Kalam pledge. Their research institute name is GD Naidu Research Institute. Their electronic component research lab is called Steve Jobs Research Lab. The passion is shown everywhere. If she would have thought, she would have named it in her father's name, mother's name, grandfather's name, but the passion is there throughout her company. And still they operate in a non-AC mode. It's too hot there. They don't use AC because Ratan Tata is funded. Just because that I cannot keep on switching on my ACs and working. She's sitting on a shop floor and she's working in the shop floor. She's so conservative to develop her business. That shows the real interest of the entrepreneur. So, Arunachal Muruganandam, the low-cost sanitary napkin. He is called the menstrual man of the world. And this man got the Padma Shri award in the current year from the President of India. And Arunachal Muruganandam is 8th standard dropout. You think if you want to become a scientist, I think it's very simple. If you are 8th standard dropout, innovations will come because you don't think in a structured way, or your education actually spoils you. Don't leave your education tomorrow and just then your parents will be behind me. Alright, so looking at this, Arunachal Muruganandam created this product, and it's a low-cost sanitary napkin, and it went on to become one of the best product around the world. And today Unilever are calling him to know how he has actually innovated this product. And he said, Unilever, one of the interviews in Times Magazine, he's also by Times Magazine, he's recognized as the 100 most powerful person in the world. And Times Magazine asked him, how did you generate this idea? He said, I never generated this idea. I was just going around my place. Striked me that some problem is there in my society. Why can't I recognize and do that? Somehow I created with the local knowledge, my own native knowledge, and this product became huge. You called me and said I am an entrepreneur. You called me and said I am a successful entrepreneur. Did I say to you, idea was there. Idea generation doesn't happen in a particular AC environment, 22 degree or 24 degree. It happens at any time. So the idea generation capability happens at any time. So look at this man. He created a product called mosquito repellent. His heart went for mosquitoes, because mosquitoes' life is just one day or something. They say that. And what we do, we live with mosquito. When mosquito bites, we'll kill him. That is the only thing we can kill in our life. And we kill that mosquito. So this man felt that somewhere burning this mosquito coils is not only a problem for the mosquito but also for the human being. If the mosquito can actually get a giddiness and then fall, that means it's also slowly at least mosquito gets it and it's forever. But we actually spoil and become poisonous over a period of time. And accordingly, he invented this mosquito repellent, which is natural way of capturing the mosquitoes and leaving them in the natural environment. Today, all the top companies are behind them. You know why? They say, we will pay you, don't release this product out. Then people will not buy the mosquito coil. This is entrepreneurship. People should come and behind you. And even if he is asking in crores, they are ready to pay in crores. The syndicate will pay in crores. This company will pay something, that company will pay something. All the mosquito coil companies. Lobby. They will pay you. So, this is a kind of a disruptive product what you should. The people should turn around your product.
They will pay you not to do business.
Yes, they will pay you not to do business. That time you should say, I will do business. So that's how the innovation should be. And wherever the innovation was good, where people feel America became superpower by its own astrology or by its own effort. Somehow it became. People don't actually analyze. If you analyze, US became powerful because of entrepreneurship. There are about 83,000 companies. If you look at there, 83,000 companies have been startup. And Silicon Valley is the hub of startup. And California Bay Area is the funders place. So that's how it gets evolved. And India is today at 10,000 plus startups. And China with the same set of population is also 10,000. We are actually raising. So if you have to overtake China, the only option available is to become an entrepreneur. So you create more startups, automatically India is going to go up. So what is the stages of startup? What is the time, end time?
Another 15 minutes.
15 minutes. What is the stages of startup? Startup stages categorized into pre-startup, startup and growth phase. What is this pre-startup stage? Now a child comes and says you, I've got a new idea. Immediately what we do? We are busy and we wanted to somehow don't want to hear. Either person would have come from a hot job or the mom would have got some other job. So she will say don't say anything, go and do your homework. That is your priority. And child goes and does the homework where it is a history subject and history is already wrong. And history is of no use. So actually the startup phases, the child comes and tells you the idea. So the moment you start encouraging a child about generating the idea, the child will start generating millions and zillions of ideas. Every day will be a new day for the child. So that is when you actually help the particular person to get on the startup side. So if you do this, is it possible? Answer is yes. But what we are doing, we are making the child to think in the direction what our education requires. We are not making the child to think in its own. When the child doesn't think on its own, your education should make the person to think on their own. But what's happening? Education is making the person to think from the books. So because of that, the innovation is not spurring. So what is the startup phases? The idea phase. The pre-startup phase is idea phase. It can come for someone at the young age when they are in school. It can come for someone when they are in college. It can come to someone when they are in employment. I am not discouraging you to go to employment. Even in employment, you be an entrepreneur. Don't be an entrepreneur. Don't be an employee. Even in your employment, you be an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur is given a task, you think you are the owner of the job. Then automatically you will start thinking like an entrepreneur. And yet another day when you go out of the job, you actually are becoming an entrepreneur. So that is a lesson we need to learn. And in the pre-startup phase, when somebody comes and shares the idea, don't discourage them. It applies to a child and even to a student, to a professor. And even professor will come and share an idea to a student. The student should not say he doesn't have any other job, that is the reason he is sharing in the class. So, idea sharing, that's the reason I told you in the start of the session, the country should become an hub for idea sharing. Automatically, what is the state of the country today? Gossip sharing. That is the reason we are not able to go up. So, if it becomes an idea sharing, if you keep hearing the idea here and there, automatically the country will go up and we will be able to change the entire nation's fate and also first our fate. People say that entrepreneur is selfish. It's better to be selfish. The moment you are selfish about the entrepreneur, yourself, automatically every person is expected to be selfish and every people's selfish nature will become the selfish nature of the country. And accordingly, country will go up. It's better to be selfish and then move forward in the idea sharing more and developing more. So there's no criticism to it. You have to look at everything in a positive way. Now, second phase is your startup phase. In the startup phase, when the idea is generated, from a pre-startup phase to startup phase, somebody should say you are ready for a startup. Who should say that? That can it be told by me or you? Answer is no. It should be told by the collegium of experts or the panel of experts. That experts will be brought in a phase called incubation. In a place called incubation. Incubation center. That's what our Andhra Chamber is planning to establish the incubation center by 1st August. Completely operationalized. What the incubation center is all about is bringing the panel of experts and making them to hear your ideas and brainstorm your idea. So every idea is not there is an idea. Opening up a coffee shop is an idea. Opening up a tea shop is an idea. And mixing coffee and tea and bringing a new product is also an idea. Whether this idea will be scalable or not should be experimented and thought about. So yeah, it can be unique. It's a unique idea. Mixing coffee and tea and then drinking is a unique idea. It may be a joke, but maybe an entrepreneur may come out with a different formula altogether. So looking at this, that idea, whether it's scalable or not, should be looked into by the panel of experts. That incubation center will be facilitated in the country across the colleges and Chamber of Commerces and industry bodies what the government is actually planning. For example, in Andhra Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister has planned for establishing about 156 incubation center alone in Andhra Pradesh. Already an incubation center is there in the Vizag called Startup Village. Already is established under the public-private partnership model. So looking at this, and Tamil Nadu government is also looking at establishing under the EDI cell, Entrepreneurship Development Institute, headed by Mr. Rajaram, IAS. So he was also there in the ICT ACT. I was having a close interaction with him. He is also having a lot of visions to actually bring a lot of change in the mindset of the people through an entrepreneurship development. So looking at this, the startup, from pre-startup to startup, it should go through the incubation phase, or it can be called as a tinkering lab. It is also called as accelerators. It is also called as co-working space. So different names are given for the incubation center, and it changes over a period of time. The trend, based on the trend, it changes. In Bangalore, we have a lot of incubation centers. This incubation center should be provided only by the chambers of commerce and the industry body or education institution. It can be provided by the private people also. If the private people is able to facilitate, and if they have the panel of experts who are the best in the industry, they can probably be provide the incubation center. Whether all the innovations can be certified by the incubation center, by the same incubation center, answer is no. Sometimes incubation centers will come in a specialized mode. The incubation center can be an incubation center for biotechnology. The incubation center can be a center for IT or Internet of Things, IoT, or ICT, Information Communication Technology. So it can be for welding. So there can be different incubation centers for different research or different startup altogether. So the responsibility of the incubation center is bringing the experts on the panel and giving them the right, because under the startup policy, the government expects the incubation center to give a certificate. When you give a certificate, it is true and correct which you are giving, and the evaluation process need to be there. And the government of India has also suggested to charge 5,000 rupees to 10,000 rupees. The incubation center can charge this amount as per the incubation policy of the government of India.
To the startup?
To the startups.
Okay.
To the startups. But when you are charging, you are responsible, because you need to understand the process or what innovation the government has brought in. So innovation the particular entrepreneur has brought in.
Not mandatory.
It's optional, and there is a given fees. There is a side of fees which is being prescribed by the government.
So do these incubators are only from research institutions like IIT and
People prefer research institutions. I'll tell you what, simple. It can be a research institute, it can be from a chamber, it can be from a private people also. What generally happens is the success rate of an incubation done by the research institute is high because the professors are there. If you go to IIT Madras, their set of professors are already there. So if you're going to tell your idea, they'll probably put up to a professor. Don't think immediately incubation center means people will sit in a panel, they'll keep hearing one token, 2 token, 3 token. Not like that. Incubation is about, it's a long drawn process. Somebody comes to you, they will first hear your idea, then sit with you for an evening, then understand your product, then tell you to give a prototype, look at the prototype and give a certification. People today, I have seen in PhD Tech, there is a person who is responsible for this entrepreneurship development. He gets everyday mail. He showed me the mail. Please give me startup certificate. This is my product idea. Immediately I want. That cannot be the mindset of the people. So that is not the way it is being structured. It is structured because at the end of the day, if the incubation is so strong, your product will scale up very fast. If the incubation is not proper, it's very simple. If the incubation doesn't happen properly, your egg will not hatch. Natural way. Similarly, if the incubation doesn't happen properly, your business will not scale up. So go to an incubator who is very strong, who questions you 100 times before giving a certificate. Don't think that it's discouraging you. By saying that these are the minus points of your project, he is making you to think stronger. So he is making you to bring a product which is very stronger. So that is planned by the government of India. Incubation centers are being planned across the country, and already the incubation centers are there. So if you look at IIT Madras, even before the startup policy came, the incubation center was there. Only thing we were not aware of it.
But they are not giving any certificates then.
No, certificates today is a mandatory thing. Because for you to get a startup benefit. Okay, if you don't get a certificate, what will happen? You will not get the benefit what the government is giving. Simple. If you want the benefit of the government, then get the certificate from the incubation center.
Any incubation center?
Any incubation center. They have to give a certificate. Okay, and there is going to be a mechanism where if you are rejected by one incubation center, the reasons will be plotted in the platform where you need to give a unique password. These are all projected by the government. Still not operational.
Registered in the website.
No, it is all planned and being formulated.
Incubation centers registered in the website.
It is listed in the website. It is listed in the website. and about 88 companies are already registered under the Startup India policy. You can go and look at the list of companies. 88 companies as of yesterday are given approval under the Startup India incentive policy. And then startup phase, your efficiency and scaling up will happen. After the prototype, you start developing the project over a period of time, product over a period of time, and finally the growth phase. In the growth phase only, I speak about the entrepreneur, you speak about the entrepreneur. Until that point of time, he is not in the limelight, and that's how all the entrepreneurs actually are made. So the current state of startups, India is the third largest hub of startups after US and UK. Last year alone, there are about 4,200 startups. And what is the average as a CEO in India? The average age of CEO of a company today is not about 54 years or 55 years. It's gone on the days. It is 28 years. And believe me, it's going to reduce to 23 years or 24 years, another 5 years down the line. Because people today, you look at OYO. OYO is started by a person who is just 21 years. And Prime Minister of the country is speaking about him when the startup policy is released. He said the person has, the particular OYO, Ritesh Agarwal has about 9,000 rooms, whereas he has about 12,000 rooms, whereas Taj hotels are only 9,000 rooms. And Ritesh Mittal has not invested in a single pie on the property.
He doesn't own anyone.
Yeah, he doesn't own anything. What he owns is OYO. Now, what is that he has penetrated? What is that he made him to own 12,000 rooms? The idea. So what was the, even today, if you land at some place at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, you are not interested to know what hotel, what brand it is. You go to OYO app, you go to Malaysia, OYO is very prevalent there, very much prevalent there. And you click OYO, then automatically the Malaysian hotels come there. Then I look at Shalangar, let us understand in Malaysia, I look at Shalangar. Then I click Shalangar, then Shalangar, what are the hotels available? The rating is also there. So top 5 rating I'll take up. 1 rating, I'll check whether the room is there. Then go for that room. I don't even know who is owning the hotel. But because of belief on the OYO, my service is assured. Service is assured. Ola also is the same thing. The moment you book a auto or a car in the Ola or Uber, your service is guaranteed. You don't look who is coming. You don't look who is coming. Your service is guaranteed because the training and assurance is provided by the Ola and Uber, which was lacking in our society. Exactly when you are going for the airport only, when you book a cab or before Ola and Uber came, exactly you will cancel and you will not be able to go also. It has happened for many people. It has happened for many people. So looking at this, when you are able to identify a problem and rectify the problem and provide a solution, the sky is the limit for the entrepreneur for making money out of these kind of projects. So there are about whether to start up in metro or non-metro, anywhere you can start up. In fact, non-metro is the best place where to start up because more problems are there. More problems are there. Metro is also you can start up. Here also a lot of opportunities are there. But you should look at every stumbling block as an opportunity. Every stumbling block as an opportunity. And so the action plan along with the entrepreneurship things we will discuss in the next session. So next session will be of the entrepreneurs who are making differences with few examples more, and how do we go about establishing your enterprise, whether you're going to establish as a company or a LLP or a partnership, what are the benefits you have, and tax incentive what the government has given, and what is the recent amendment that has been brought in by the ministry, and how the ministry is going to function on the startup function, what are the best practices around the world. These are the things we are going to discuss. It was quite successful in MMA, which we did. A lot of people turned up for the session. And across the country, I have completed about 90 plus and 3 sessions in Taiwan and 4 sessions in Malaysia, and about 3 more sessions in Japan is planned. All people are welcoming it. How is startup topic in Taiwan or Malaysia or Japan? That's a question people ask me. It is the start. It is the session which need to be done in other country for a simple reason. One, first to get to know the best practice in other country when the people question you. When the people question you. 2. Startup India also should be collaborated with other country. Should be collaborated with other country. You might invent some design for which you need to get the technology. So for that you need to collaborate with other country. So only when this project is there, when the awareness is there, and the incentive is there, they will also look at sharing the patents to you. So for that we do this session along with the Make in India and other projects of the government. So that we will also showcase to them these are the investment sites and also tell them this is the vibrancy that is being happened. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and this is my contact details. You can always write to me in between also. If you have any doubts and any thought process, this is my ID. My Facebook ID is also there. My page is also there, and my ID is this, and my WhatsApp number is this. At any point of time, you can write to me and ping me, and also any ideas you have in the course of the discussion which we have to carry through, we can carry through and brainstorm also. And thank you for this wonderful opportunity. I thank Nandagopal sir and all the visionaries of the Andhra Chamber of Commerce for making available today and sharing the session also. Thank you so much for this wonderful opportunity.
May I request Mr. Bhagavatam to come to dais, please. Thank you, Mr. Sathya Kumar, for the valuable presentation on startups. This presentation will be continued on last Wednesday of the month for the next 3 months. May I request Sri B. Gautam, Executive Committee Member of Andhra Chamber of Commerce, to present a small memento to Sri Sathya Kumar as a token of our appreciation. Thank you. May I request Sri Rama Venugopal to propose a vote of thanks.
Good evening, all of you.